stop. Whatever you are doing at this very moment, stop. What I'm about to say is not for everyone listening. It is for you. Something has happened in your life recently. A weight that seems to have settled between your shoulders and that no one around you can understand. You have been carrying a question that seems to have no answer, a silence that screams for clarity as the calendar approaches a breaking point. You feel that the wait for June 1st is not just a date on the clock, but a marker of a transition you sense but still cannot see. This transmission is not an accident. It is the confirmation that the time of forced stagnation is coming to an end, and what is hidden will be revealed before the clock strikes 23 hours and 6 minutes. For the time we walk together in this reflection, you will recognize the 5 signs that have been repeating in your routine and understand what they really mean for your spirit. You will identify the single mental pattern that has kept the doors closed, even when you apply all your effort, and you will understand why the fatigue you feel is not a sign of weakness, but of a deep preparation. Before we close, a declaration will be made about your life, something I believe is the real reason this moment found you today. Stay with me until the end, because every word here is a brick in the foundation of what is coming. You have noticed things that make no sense to someone looking from the outside. The exhaustion you feel is not physical. It is the result of a soul being calibrated to carry something greater, but that has not yet been given permission to let go of what is old. Your dreams have become vivid, almost more real than the hours you are awake, bringing messages from places you have not visited in years. You have experienced waves of melancholy that arise without apparent reason, followed by moments of absolute, almost frightening stillness. Conversations with the people closest to you have begun to feel empty, as if you were speaking a language they have not yet learned to hear, and perhaps most revealing, you feel you are standing in the same place, spinning in circles, while everything you desire seems to be attention. You need to prepare yourself now. I have prepared material for those who doubt their own calling from God and still do not have confirmation. Are you one of the chosen? We'll give you that clarity. These are the 7 signs of the language of the calling, marks of God in the story of every chosen one, so you can reread your story and recognize the purpose sealed over you before the foundation of the world. Stop calling coincidence what is actually a calling. Stop silencing the sacred restlessness. Stop postponing the answer you feel. Your window is closing, and a chosen one who does not recognize the calling does not walk in purpose. More than 10,000 people have already read the 7 signs and received the conviction they had been seeking for years. They were just like you. They felt something no one understood. They lived in silent doubt, and they discovered it was real. And it had a name. The offer is open only this month. Access the link in the pinned comment now, before doubt steals another year from your calling. Be exactly 1 step beyond your reach. Many would call this a crisis, bad luck, or exhaustion, but I am here to tell you the truth. This is the recognition of a frequency shift. The stagnation you are living through is the necessary space for your internal structure to reorganize before the great opening. What you call delay, heaven calls alignment. The exhaustion is the cost of sustaining a level of energy you have not yet learned to channel. Breathe deeply now. Let that truth reach the deepest place of your consciousness, where you keep the hope that was almost extinguished. Your fingers typing those 3 numbers are your spirit saying a conscious yes to this new season. It is the smallest of agreements, but it is the most real because it establishes your willingness to let the mooring drop. Type 888, then come back to me immediately. What almost no one understands is that this feeling of weight is not a detour. It is a sign that you are carrying something that no longer belongs to you. You have been operating under an expectation imposed on you by past generations, by voices that said a person's value is measured only by effort, sweat, and pain. But look at nature. A seed does not grow by pushing the soil. It grows because the time of the season has come and the moisture surrounds it. You have been trying to force the blossoming when, in truth, all you needed was to allow the shell to break. You have been living like a captain who keeps the anchor down even with the engine running and the sails open, afraid that if you let go of the rope, the vessel will be taken to an unknown place. But June 1st is the moment when the tide changes. The current is turning in your favor, and if you do not drop the anchor now, the stress of that stretched rope will be all you know. The revelation you're waiting for will not come like a lightning bolt from the sky, but as an internal permission, you will finally give yourself to leave the past where it belongs. Imagine a mooring where the ropes are covered with barnacles and moss, stiff from time and neglect. Your emotional life has been that mooring. You have become so accustomed to resistance that when peace tries to approach, you automatically brace for the next blow. It is a survival response that served you in hard times, but now acts as a barrier between you and what is destined for your new phase. The breaking of the moorings is not an act of violence, it is an act of surrender. It is recognizing that the fight is over, not because you won, but because you stopped fighting against the flow that was always there to guide you. As the day approaches, this feeling that something is about to happen will intensify. Do not be afraid of the silence that precedes the break. In nature, the calm before the storm is just nature holding its breath before a total renewal. Allow this recognition to seal where it has just touched. The act of typing those 3 words makes the testimony permanent in your own personal record. Type, then come back to me now. Consider now that the like you offer is your wordless amen. It is not a social media metric, not a validation of numbers. It is a silent agreement that what was named here was named with precision and truth. It is your way of saying that yes, the recognition has been made, and you accept the truth that has been placed before you. The solution to your anguish is not in doing more, in seeking more, or in forcing the doors that remain locked. The solution is a return to your essence. It is an unlearning of everything you were told about being worthy of attainment. You do not need to build your value. You only need to recognize that it was always there, waiting for you to stop hiding behind your productivity. Imagine yourself in a wide courtyard where the sun warms the stone floor and the wind blows without the sound of urgency. That courtyard is your rightful place. You do not need to run to get there. You are already in it. All you need is to sit down and allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm, the rhythm of trust instead of the rhythm of haste. At this very moment, there is someone in your life who came to your mind while I was speaking. Think of that person. They are quiet in a way no one notices, carrying a tiredness they hide behind a polite smile. They have been working with immense dedication, but the results always seem to slip away, as if there were an invisible barrier between them and the success they deserve. This person is someone who also feels the vibration of this moment, someone whose heart is waiting for a word that validates their long wait. Send this message to them. Do not do it as someone recommending content, but as someone handing over a key. What was revealed to you by design is also being delivered to them by providence, exactly at the moment when their courage was beginning to waver. Before we reach the closing, I need you to seal this experience. You are no longer the person who started this conversation, carrying the weight of the unanswered question. You now possess the clarity of someone who knows that the break is inevitable. Do not type them as a wish or a hope for a distant future. Type them as a present confirmation. The agreement that was formed between the heights and your hearing over the last tens of minutes is the foundation on which you will live the coming months. Type slowly. Feel each letter being recorded. You have been feeling this deep exhaustion, this fatigue that does not seem to come from the body, but from something much more subtle, there where the soul resides. You have been trying to understand why, even with so much effort, progress seems to walk on quicksand. But listen carefully. This exhaustion is not a sign of failure. It is, in fact, a calibration. What you interpret as tiredness is the process of adjusting your frequency. You have been operating at a rhythm that no longer belongs to you, a rhythm of survival imposed by situations you should have disengaged from long ago. Your spirit is being tuned to a higher vibration, and this process requires the old gears to stop turning. When you feel exhausted without apparent reason, it is because your essence is being reorganized to withstand what comes next. It is as if your structure is being strengthened so it does not collapse under the weight of the blessings that are coming. Think of your current moment as a great ship docked at a port where the tide is about to change. For years, you were held by chains that kept your hull stuck to the bottom, preventing you from following the course of open waters. You felt the pull, the tension, the desire to leave, but something, a fear, an old responsibility, a limiting belief, kept your mooring firm in the dark bed. June 1st is not just a mark on the calendar. It is the moment when the tide changes direction. It is the instant when the water rises so high that the weight of the anchor becomes irrelevant. What held you will not break. It will simply become useless because your boat will be floating at a level the old chains can no longer reach. The tide is rising and your mooring is losing its hold on your destiny. It is not just a phrase, it is the seal of your acceptance of this change. By typing it, you are declaring that you no longer need to fight against the flow. You are agreeing to be carried by the tide that God has prepared for this cycle. It is a simple gesture, but of absolute power. Your readiness is what allows the transition to occur without effort. Type now, let the recognition settle, and then come right back to me. As you do this, look at your own reaction as a form of liturgy. If this recognition brought comfort to your chest, if it quieted the noise of your mind, let your touch on the like icon be your wordless amen. We are not here for metrics, for numbers, for audience counts. We are here for the agreement. When you mark this message as something that recognized your truth, you are silently saying that what was named here is legitimate. It is a gesture of communion. Every time this sign appears, it confirms that we are not talking about small things, but about the reality you are about to live. Keep your heart open, because the layer beneath this one is what will define your next step. Calm your breathing, feel the solidity of the ground under your feet, and understand that what we are building here is not temporary. It is the foundation of your new season of life. There is no hurry, only the certainty that everything that was hidden is now being revealed before your eyes. The solution to the stagnation you are living does not require more effort, more vigils, or more human strategies designed by your own fear. For too long, you tried to push the door that should have been opened simply because you were in the right place at the right time. Rest in surrender is the most courageous act a human spirit can practice. It is not about passivity. It is about stopping rowing against the current that has finally decided to work in your favor. You spent years trying to control the speed of your destiny, believing that without the sweat of your effort, the result would not be legitimate. But that was the lie that kept you prisoner to scarcity. From now on, your work is no longer to create the path. It is only to recognize the path that is already being paved for you. When you stop fighting against time, you realize that time was never against you. It was just waiting for your maturity so you could carry what was coming next. Breathe deeply and let go of the responsibility of being the architect of your own miracle. Let the flow of life, guided by the hand that writes the days, lead you out of the construction site and into the dwelling of the promise. As you process this freedom, a face has just appeared on the screen of your mind. It is not a random thought. It is the memory of someone who walks beside you on the journey, someone who, like you, has been living in deep silence. Think of that person. Perhaps it is someone who shows strength to the world, but whom you know has been carrying an exhaustion that sleep does not cure. Someone who maintains a firm posture but who holds doubts they never confess to anyone. Someone who has been working with silent dedication, waiting for an answer that never seems to come. That person carries the same invisible load you have carried until now, and your role today is to be the bridge. Do not keep this revelation as a secret in your possession. Send this message to them, not as someone recommending content, but as someone delivering a necessary supply. It is a gesture of care, of ministry, of mutual recognition between two travelers who were exhausted and have finally found a resting point. This movement of surrender, this recognition that your story is being written by an author who knows the end from the beginning, leads you to a new state of consciousness. You are no longer the orphan of your own destiny. You are no longer the stranger asking permission to exist. You recognize in the stillness of your chest an authority that did not come from titles, possessions, or external approval. It is an identity forged in the fire of the trials you went through in silence. Do not type them as someone who has doubts. Type with the firmness of someone who recognizes that the puzzle of your life, with all its pieces of pain and glory, has finally come together. This phrase is the final confirmation of your new season of life. It is the recognition that although the path was lonely and steep, the final destination was always your own essence. Type slowly, allowing each letter to carry the weight of your decision. Feel the weight of what was declared. Feel how the air around you seems lighter, as if the moorings that tied your soul to yesterday have indeed dissolved in the clarity of this new morning. You are about to enter a time where the things you were seeking will begin to seek you. It is the principle of the harvest that follows the obedience of rest. Now receive the blessing that sustains your next step. You are committed to the truth that now dwells in your being. You are commissioned to live from this new identity without apologizing for your light. You are sent to walk in this new season with the authority of someone who has understood that the fight is over and the harvest has begun. What you carry is no longer a burden. It is a seed. What you live is no longer a process of pain. It is a process of preparation for what is coming. You are what you were designed to be. You are the place where heaven and earth meet to manifest what was hidden. Every movement you make from here will be guided by the certainty of this union. You no longer walk toward victory. You walk from the victory that was established in the time when you did not even know your own name. Remain firm in what was revealed. Guard this word as the most valuable treasure of your existence, and know that from this day forward, your life will never again be read under the lens of lack. Everything you needed to understand to break from the past is here, present and operative. Your journey now is one of expansion, clarity, and a peace that does not depend on external circumstances. You are, in the full meaning of the word, someone who has been seen and who has finally begun to see. It is sealed. Attention! You need to prepare yourself now. I have prepared material for those who doubt their own calling from God and still do not have confirmation. Are you one of the chosen? We'll give you that clarity. These are the 7 signs of the language of the calling, marks of God in the story of every chosen one, so you can reread your story and recognize the purpose sealed over you before the foundation of the world. Stop calling coincidence what is actually a calling. Stop silencing the sacred restlessness. Stop postponing the answer you feel. Your window is closing, and a chosen one who does not recognize the calling does not walk in purpose. More than 10,000 people have already read the 7 signs and received the conviction they had been seeking for years. They were just like you. They felt something no one understood. They lived in silent doubt, and they discovered it was real. And it had a name. The offer is open only this month. Access the link in the pinned comment now, before doubt steals another year from your calling.